This is it, just one day to go before the championship race here in Slovakia, hosted by Challenge Family. We have around 60 top pros currently on the start list, including some of the best in the world. This is going to be an incredible showdown, but who's going to take the title for both the men's and the women's races? Well, here are my predictions. Now then, before I delve into my own personal race day predictions, you may be wondering what the championship is. Well, it takes place in a small town just outside of Bratislava in Slovakia, and from this very impressive place, the xbionic sphere. Now the swim starts in the Danube River just alongside these facilities with a 1.9 kilometer swim, then into a very fast and flat 90 kilometer bike, and then finishing with a 21.1 kilometer run around the facilities of the xbionic sphere. Although not on this track, I just fancy filming on this track because it looks really quite cool. Now, one really unique part about this event is the fact it has a 20-meter draft rule as opposed to the 12-meter draft rule that we find at most other events. Now, this is really quite important because, well, it's technically making the event more fair, because what you find even at 12 meters behind another rider is they've proven it to be significantly beneficial, whereas as that distance increases to 20 meters, those benefits do drop off quite substantially. Now, what this does mean is that it does lend itself ever so slightly more so to the stronger bikers, and we found that in the past, even for those that have a weaker swim. In 2017, Sebastian Kienle and Lionel Sanders rode themselves back into contention, having come out of the swim 3 minutes down on the leaders, and repeated it in 2018 in a similar fashion, whereas for Lucy Charles, it's actually allowed her to simply race her own race from start to finish, leading it from gun to tape.
With my head on the time, you go way out of line.
But now then, let's take a look at the 2019 start list, starting with the women. We have the championship queen, Lucy Charles-Barclay. She won the inaugural event back in 2017 and also last year's event, 2018. So she is therefore the overall course record, and no surprises, also the swim course record. Now, she's having a fantastic season, having won the Ironman African Championships, and has also made it her mission to come here and retain her title. Now, she was pushed last year by Annie Haug, but unfortunately she can't be with us this year due to a recent injury. But we do have next best third place finisher from last year, Radka Karlsson. She's fantastic across all three disciplines and a particularly strong swimmer. Although she may not be quite Lucy Charles standards, she is probably one of few that could be in close contention after the swim. Although at the time of filming this, the water temperature is actually borderline as to whether they may need to shorten the swim or actually cancel the swim altogether. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one, although obviously that could really change the dynamics of this race. But that aside, Radka is in fantastic form, hot off 2 Ironman 70.3 wins in the Philippines and in Vietnam. Another athlete that could be a threat to Lucy is Ellie Salthouse. She too is fantastic across all three disciplines and is somewhat of a 70.3 specialist. Now, she won Ironman 70.3 Miami towards the end of last year. She placed second at Pucon and Geelong earlier this year, and also a fourth in Dubai. She also won Challenge Cancun just recently. In fact, she has rarely stepped outside the top 5 in any race over the past few years, so she's definitely one to watch. Of course, we also have last year's 4th place finisher, Emma Pallant. Now, she is on the start list for this weekend, but given that she did race in Ironman Lanzarote just last weekend, I am safely assuming that she's probably not going to be with us this weekend to race at the championship. Although, I would happily be proven wrong, but I haven't actually seen her around just yet. But one athlete that has beaten Lucy before is Daniela Blemmel, previously known as Daniela Samler, if you don't recognise that name. Now, she surprised us all at Challenge Rock when she passed Lucy in the closing miles of the run to take the overall win. That said, she does seem rather well suited to the longer distance events rather than the middle distance, but she did just recently win Challenge Heilbronn, so perhaps she could surprise us all again. Now, my final 2 women's picks go to Amelia Watkinson from New Zealand and Sarah Lewis from Great Britain. Now, they're quite similar swimmers. We'd expect to see somewhere around 2 to 3 minutes down on Lucy out of the water, and probably actually biking together or very close by one another. Amelia is having a fantastic season. She has recently won Challenge Melbourne. Sarah, on the other hand, had a fantastic fantastic start, coming second at Ironman 70.3 Dubai, but then was very soon after that struck down with injury. So this will actually mark her first race back since that. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Now, my final predictions then, top three. I'm going to go for third place to Radka Karlsson, second to Ellie Salthouse, which leaves probably first place to Lucy Charles-Barclay. But who knows with the swim, whether that goes ahead or is shortened. So I'd love to hear from you guys, so please do drop your predictions in the comments section below. But now for the men's predictions. Well, the last 2 years has come down to a nail-biting showdown between Lionel Sanders and Sebastian Kienle, with Lionel Sanders edging ahead in the closing miles and taking that win. But given that Lionel is out with injury at the moment and won't be attending the 2019 championship race, could this be the year that Sebastian takes that win? Well, he has certainly got his work cut out. We've got Ben Knut here, who is one of the fastest swimmers, if not the fastest swimmer on the start list. He's an incredible biker and, well, he's really not that bad at running either. He's obviously put his focus mostly on ITU racing for the past few years, but he has certainly shown his strength over the longer distance and non-drafting format too. He won Ironman 70.3 Oceanside just a couple of months ago. He won Ironman 70.3 Texas last year, and he also placed second at the Ironman 70.3 World Championships in 2017. That is really not messing about. But someone I'm a big fan of is Andy Dreitsch, the German powerhouse. Now, he may not be one of the strongest swimmers out there, and we probably expect to see him somewhere around 2 minutes down on the leaders out of the swim. But I would not put it past him to bike himself back up into contention, if not actually back up into the lead. Now, he recently won Ironman 70.3 Marbella and placed third in Ironman 70.3 Aix-de-Provence. And if you recently watched our GTN hill climb video with the pros, he absolutely destroyed us. Now, it almost is a shame that there's only 70 meters worth of elevation change over this bike course, because that guy can climb. But another athlete that could really mix things up here and cause quite a stir is Rudy von Berg. He recently won Ironman 70.3 St. George and placed second at Ironman 70.3 Oceanside. He's another athlete that's just fantastic across all three disciplines. He even went solo on the bike at St. George before going on to win it. And not forgetting that he's also the 2018 Ironman 70.3 European champion, where he actually passed Adam Bowden in the final couple of kilometres after a little bit of toing throwing throughout that run leg. Which leads me nicely on to Adam Bowden. He is an accomplished ITU athlete and also an ex-international runner. So needless to say, this guy is a bit of a weapon on that third and final leg of the triathlon. He also has just gone from strength to strength this past year. He went on to win Ironman 70.3 Dubai early this year and also took third behind Ben and Rudy at Ironman 70.3 Oceanside. But there's a few other athletes that I really do think could influence this race. We have Peter Hemerick, who is also hot off 2 wins at Challenge Gran Canaria and Challenge Salou. He's a fantastic biker and fantastic runner, and he also has a fantastic collie, so instantly gets a big thumbs up from me. And we can't forget the 2 Brits, David McNamee and Joe Skipper. Now, David McNamee, well, he needs little introduction really. He is a 2-time third place finisher at the Ironman World Championships and very recently took second at Ironman 70.3 Barcelona. And not forgetting, this guy has a very good ITU background too, because he placed second at the ITU Under 23 World Championships way back when, before he moved over to long distance racing. Whereas Joe Skipper, on the other hand, does not have an ITU background, but does make up for it with his biking strength, because he's another one that we may see a little bit down out of the swim, maybe 2 to 3 minutes down on the top guys, but may well see him biking himself back up into contention and within that top 5. So now over to my predictions for the men's race. Third, I am actually going to give it to Adam Bowden. Second to Sebastian Kienle, and first to Ben Knut. Again, do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and your predictions for both the men's and women's races. It really is quite a tough one this year. We've got so many more class athletes to discuss. We've got Anya Ipak, Maurice Clavel, Mauricio Mendes. The list just goes on. But I do hope you've enjoyed today's video, and do make sure that you tune in to watch the race on Sunday at 9 AM Central European time, and then with the women's race starting just 10 minutes later. You can find the link for the live feed on the championship website, which is hosted by Challenge. Now, if you liked today's video, please do hit that thumbs up button, and if you'd like to subscribe to GTN, you just click on the globe, and if you would like to see the championship in numbers and find out a little bit more about this event, just click down here.